Hello there, everybody, and today is January 18th, 2008, and I finally got through all of my midterms, except for one, but I have some free time before Monday, so I'm going to get this one out. I recently watched a couple movies coming out next week, Sydney White, and, what was that other one? The Game Plan, and I had seen one, I think, last week that came out either this past week or is coming out next week. Called The 10. So let's go over those. Let's see. First one I want to go over is Sydney White. Now, personally, I'd never heard of this movie up until I saw it like in the store the other day, and I was looking at the cover. It stars Amanda Bynes. For those of you who don't know, she was a big Nickelodeon star for a while back, and I guess she's been doing a handful of movies now. So I mean, she's been in She's the Man. A couple other movies. Most of them have all been comedies. But anyway, this one's called Sydney White. And when you take a look at the cover, it pretty much looks like it's this strange remake of Snow White, because it's Sydney White, the Seven Dorks, Prince Charming, which is like the president of one of the Greek houses, and the Evil Sisters, which are the sisters of this sorority. And it actually has a lot of interesting, funny things in it. Let me just say, for those of you who don't like cheesy humor, don't watch it. Pretty much the entire movie is cheesy. I personally myself enjoyed it, however, mostly because there's a lot of nerdy, geeky references in it, especially if you like Snow White or parodies on Snow White, which this has a lot of parodies off of the themes in Snow White. So that was pretty interesting. But the rough premise, Sydney White comes onto this new college campus, which she's never been to college before. But this is the same college that her mom went to. She has to pledge to this house that her mom had left a legacy at, so she goes and does that. What ends up happening is she doesn't make it into the sorority. And I kind of, I don't think that spoils anything, but when you read the back, it pretty much tells you that she's going to try and get back at them. So that's pretty much the entire premise. I want to say character development was fairly good, but there wasn't that much depth to each character. However, if you watch some of the deleted scenes, they noticed that they had cut out, like in the editing room, a lot of the scenes that really developed character more deeply, or at least in my opinion. But let me just say, overall, the movie, I liked it. Thought it was pretty good for what it was. Cheesy, witty humor, comedy movie. But if you don't like that sort of thing, don't worry about it. Otherwise, I actually give it a thumbs up. So, that was pretty good. Alright, so the next movie I want to talk about is called The 10. Now, this movie, let me just say, is ridiculous. Now, first of all, it's not done in a normal format of a movie. It's actually done as a series of short stories, but they're all interrelated somehow, and there's maybe about 10 different main characters, and Jessica Alba, I think, is in one or two of the stories, but I think she's like the big star, and then maybe like a couple other people, but she's, I think, the biggest name there. However, the 10, it basically takes a story for each of the 10 commandments, and it's kind of interspersed with this like stupid guy who is trying to introduce each story, but they kind of work that in to be a story as well. And anyway, for the most part, this entire movie sucked. Most of the stories sucked. There's like one or two that are really good, or like really hilarious. Like there's this one about a girl going to Mexico. I think it's like the second or third one. It's really early. But if you watch it, and you definitely watch that one's the most hilarious. The rest of them aren't quite as hilarious, but there's some sense of humor in a couple of other stories. But a lot of them are just dumb and stupid, and the acting's terrible. I don't even know what to say. And there's this one ridiculous story about CAT scan machines. And honestly, when you watch it, at first I thought, oh, 10 Commandments. There's probably going to be some religious... No, there's nothing. None. Just forget about it. It's just this stupid, funny movie that's not that great. So, but if you want to laugh and, you're probably drinking or something, that might be okay. Because you'll be amused at almost anything. And, it's not utterly horrible, because yeah, I did laugh a handful of times. So, but either way, it's not a well done movie, so I'm gonna have to give it a thumbs down. The 10, don't watch it. All right, the last one I want to talk about is probably the biggest title of the bunch for today. There have been a lot of comedy titles coming out lately. I don't know why. I think this is about that time of year where a lot of like the comedies that came out in the last 6 months are like in the theater are pretty much coming out on DVD. So that'd be my guess. Anyway, the last one is The Game Plan. This is actually the biggest title I'm talking about today. It is the one starring The Rock, and he plays a football player who discovers he has a daughter. So anyway, the huge thing about this was he didn't know he had a daughter, and they build his character to be very selfish, pompous, however other words, egotistical, and he doesn't know what to do with his life except for work on his football career. But one day he all of a sudden gets this girl on his doorstep, not really in a basket or anything, but she's like 8 years old, and she's like, "Oh, Mom sent me over here because she's going away to Africa." Now, anyway, first half of this movie I thought was kind of lacking. I mean, I think they built up the characters pretty well, but other than that, it wasn't that funny. It was very cheesy. It was very predictable for the first half hour of the movie. However, I do want to say that the movie was pretty good. The only reason why is that the second half of the movie, I feel, more than makes up for the first half, because a lot of emotional, drama going on in the second half. There's, good. Actually, I like how they intersperse. There's a couple of musical montages, and they do really well. Like, I don't think at any point in the movie did I feel the music was, apart from the movie itself. However, that's not the huge thing. The huge thing is there's this plot twist in the second half of the movie, which I thought was ridiculous because you totally didn't see it coming, and if you did, you were way too good. But anyway, overall, I thought the movie was pretty good. I definitely recommend it. I think the target audience is for families because it's a father-daughter story. I want to say that they also want to try to get guys to watch it too, because it does star The Rock. For those of you who don't know, his real name is Dwayne Johnson. But whatever. The Rock. That's what everybody calls him. Anyway, The Game Plan. It's kind of long. I think they could have cut it up a little bit, and there was a few scenes I think they had taken out. But I, for the most part, think they were pretty good calls. The Game Plan, thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty funny overall. A lot of cheesiness in the beginning, but the second half is pretty good. It's more of like a drama story after that, but Anyway, thumbs up for The Game Plan. Hope you guys enjoyed these all these comedy movie reviews coming. I'm trying to do some older ones, hopefully not comedy, so that we can mix it up a little bit. But anyway, enjoy this, guys, and enjoy the movies. See ya.